you're going to collect a ton of loot in this text game. When you look in a full container, you'll be met with a wall of text. Highlighting some words does help things stand out, but here's a few ways to improve your view. You can use flag Sortedview On to group up common item types, a more pleasing view compared to unfiltered. Be aware, this flag setting can cause some scripts to not read your inventory correctly. I typically leave this flag off. Up next, we have one of my favorites, the Sorter script. I add this one to the global auto start list for all characters. At default settings, it lists all your items in bulk, plus a sorting that looks very similar to the sorted view flag. Use ;K sorter to kill the script. Then type ;sorter width equals 5, and then run sorter again. Now when we look in the cloak, it has the list more spaced out going straight down. Kill the script again, then set the width to 150 and run sorter again. Now it's more spread out to the right. This is my preferred view. Before we dive into selling, make sure your loot script settings are correct. Use ;eloot setup or ;sloot setup for whatever script you use. I'm basic, so I use Sloot. On the Selling tab, I'll tick reagents, lockpicks, skins, and wands on Jara. I turn in rings to the chronomages and leave everything else unchecked. If you have anything fancy in a container or on your person, use the mark verb to prevent it from being sold. You can use mark item remove to remove the unsellable mark. Register the most important things too every so often. To trigger basic selling of either script, use ;eloot sell or ;sloot sell. This will run around and sell common stuff based on your script sell settings. The eloot script is a bit superior here, as it will also handle stuff like collectibles, shells, boxes, etc. I'll still walk through all those pieces for the Sloot users though. So the main loot is sorted now, and we're left with boxes, an amulet, some gems, and a clothing item. Here's the section for Sloot users. You may find little knickknacks during hunting, and the script called Collectible will turn those in for you. The script sell_shells will do just that, useful for zones where shells drop as gems, like Soulhaven and River's Rest. Next up is Poolparty. This will drop boxes off at the locksmith pool system, where other players will pick them, allowing you to retrieve your boxes and collect the loot. You can set your tip amount or a tip type with ;pool help. If you want to deposit and pick up at the same time, just run ;Poolparty. I personally like to use ;Pool deposit to only drop off boxes, and then ;Pool loot from any town if I need quick money. You can only store 100 boxes in the pool before you have to take some out. Common gems I sometimes hold on to for gem bounties or store them in jars. It can be a bit of a headache keeping up with all the jars though. Lately I've only kept uncut diamonds and emeralds. To clean house, visit the gem shop, remove and sell your container to sell all the gems at once. Fun fact, you can also remove your container and sell all skins at once at the furrier too. I might revisit these magic items in more detail in the future, but for now, here's a quick summary of most pawn fodder. Check out the GSWiki link for a full list and more information about these common treasure finds. I hold on to the crystal amulets for free tickets to River's Rest. They are a relic of the past, previously having to rub them to use the now ESP network. I added a feature to my Huntpro script called Cleanup. Activate with ;Huntpro Cleanup. It will use herbs or magic to heal you, run your loot script sell feature, and all applicable extra dependencies like Poolparty. It will spell you up at the end. There are some extra setup toggles too, like Upkeep Sanctify on a weapon, Meditate after cleanup, or to run cleanup after every hunt. This way Huntpro keeps you and your inventory in manageable shape at the push of one command. You might find some fancy jewelry items in the wilds. Sometimes these have general magic spells in them or can be embedded. You can use spell 405 Elemental Detection if you know it to get some additional details. Always try to sell this stuff at the gem shop first. If they are enhancive or coded as high value, you'll get a message saying they aren't buying anything that valuable. Your best bet is to have a bard character lore sing to the item to find out any special properties. Thank you to Leanne for helping snag this item example. Even without trading skill ranks, you can appraise items inside the furrier, gem shop, or pawn shop. You know you have something at least slightly decent when the pawn shop will only offer you max 35,000. Like the fancy jewelry example, get a bard to sing to the item to find more details. I'll be transparent, a lot of the 35k max items you find will just be pawn shop fodder anyway, but there's always a chance you find some jackpot items. I recommend visiting the Demystifying Unusual Loot guide on the GSWiki for a deeper dive into the different ways you can find details about an item too. Some really nice tips here. As always, links mentioned in the video can be found in the description. If a bard has unlocked something, use Recall Item Name to see the details. Thank you Eldekar for lending their voice to find this recall. A quick way to see if something is scripted is to use Zesttest. Go somewhere far away from others, a private area, maybe a table or a sanctuary. It spams commands. Just use Zesttest item. Go through the issued commands and pick out the ones that do something special. As covered in the Demystifying Unusual Loot on the wiki, usually Analyze or Inspect gives more details about an item too. This is an older item that you can read. As for what good items are worth, it comes down to a lot of factors, mostly what others are willing to pay. Supply, demand, etc. I'll touch on this topic again in the Player's Corner and Economy video.